I think, great question. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be, how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family? That is the number one priority. We don't have to overthink it. Every number gets better for every community if dads are around. Every number gets worse when dads are not around. Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know, it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. And you know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act, and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place.
Thank you.
What a gift from God.
Yeah. She truly is. She is the biggest blessing. Hi, I'm Andrea. It's so lovely to meet you. I'm really grateful that you came out to our campus. Something that kind of has me like on the fence of whether or not I go kind of like full blown more like conservative or moderate is just seeing how
Give it up. That is a gift from the Lord, everybody. That is just beautiful.
Thank you. But
you know, I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know.
What I'm getting at is that the influence of DEI have actually inverted the piety away from the promise of what MLK said, which was race blindness, towards race obsession. What you are talking about is very admirable, which is understanding people's backgrounds. We're just going to not even disagree. I don't necessarily have time to build out what DEI has meant in practice. And what the problem with DEI is, it's taken a lot of well-meaning people like you and then taken you along to support it, when in practice it's something completely and totally different. But here's something I will encourage you to do as a Christian. Care less about people's shared racial experience and look at them instead of just as their soul, as God made them. We should try to strive towards a blinder race nation, not one that talks about skin color all the time.
I agree 100%.
And I think DEI does make us talk about skin color more.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, great points. I would say that I am with you for the idea of a colorblind society. I think that it's a bit of a farce to say that colorblind society is something we should aspire to, but I think it's a farce to think that it doesn't exist, that race doesn't play a factor. I totally agree. Okay, and so
I will say it plays far less of a factor 10 years ago. It's playing more of a factor today.
Yes, I agree.
In a negative way.
Yes, I 100%. I mean, I think you had mentioned something about DEI like earlier, and I was like, for sure, like the way I agree with DEI in principle, but I think the way it's been instituted by our government and all the other institutions is completely wrong. So, because for me, it's not about seeing color; it's how you treat color. Does that make sense?
Everyone's going to see color. And
yeah, exactly.
You're right.
Yeah,
and so it's an ideal that is admirable, being colorblind.
Right.
The problem with what we were promised with the Civil Rights Act, we were promised a colorblind society. We now have a color-obsessed society. And it's a breakdown of that promise. Instead, the country I grew up in, at least, was like, yeah, you're black, but it doesn't matter. It's not the most important thing. Instead, it's, are you a good person? How do you act? How do you treat other people? Are you a Christian? Like, what is your worldview? I want to get back to that. Of course, we're still going to see differences, but I want to de-emphasize them to a place where we look at each other as fellow human beings and fellow American citizens. Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, can I get a hat from my buddy?
Absolutely.
Place like murder, she rolled. Once I get you out the clothes, privacy is.
Today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close. And he was my best friend and my brother. And I will never unsee the footage of what I saw, the violence of it. I pray for the people who took any pleasure in that. I would never, there's not a single person in the world that I would wish that on. And least of all, someone with a heart like Charlie's. He loved his family, he loved his wife, he loved his country. And he didn't deserve that ending. You know, he was really young. But I know that We will carry the torch. I will never allow the memory of Charlie to be forgotten, obviously, because there is no Candace without Charlie.